Hi everyone, today I'd like to teach you how to make a scatter plot on graph paper. First, you need graph paper and your processed data table. Use a pencil and a ruler to draw a vertical line on the y-axis and a horizontal line on the x-axis. Remember that this is the y-axis, dependent variable, and x-axis, independent variable. Write the title of the x-axis, including the quantity and its unit. For this example, we have the air temperature in degrees Celsius. The first column on our table is our data for the x-axis. Next, write the title of the y-axis, including the quantity and its unit. For this example, we have the average ice cream sales, which is the number of ice creams sold, so there is no unit. The second column on our table is our number for the y-axis. Next, we will draw a number line. Always start at 0. Count how many squares there are on each axis, and it looks like this. Place a mark on each square along the x-axis. At the same time, you can also count how many squares there are on the x-axis. So, there are 28 squares on the x-axis. Remember that the first column of our table is our x-axis, or the independent variable. Next, we will determine a sensible scale that we can use for our graph. To find out, we can use this technique. Find the highest number in the first column, which is 27.5. Next, divide it by the total number of squares on the x-axis. This gives us 28. The answer is 0.98, approximately 1.0. So the scale will be 1.0. So here, I'm writing the numbers on the x-axis by 1.0 scale. Take note that the precision should also be the same as the data on the table, meaning it should have the same number of decimal places. Next, you will add tick marks on the y-axis at the same time, counting how many squares there are. So I've counted 18 squares. We will use the data on the second column for the y-axis. Now, let's find the scale for the y-axis. So the same formula will be used. Find the highest number of the second column, which is 90. Next, divide it by the total number of squares on the y-axis, which is 18. So 90 divided by 18 is 5. So the scale for the y-axis will be by 5. Take note of the precision of the numbers. Since the data doesn't have decimal places and is represented as whole numbers. So on the y-axis, we have whole numbers. Now, we are ready to plot the points on our graph. The first set of data is 11.9 and 34. 11.9 is here on the x-axis and 34 is here on the y-axis. Trace both lines to the point where they intersect and place a tiny X on the intersection. Continue plotting the points until you complete all the data points. We are almost done. Then last but not least is to add a title to the graph. And that is how you make a scatter plot on graph paper.